All right, guys, welcome back. Dr. T, living your best life here in the Philippines. Right now, I'm in Bohol. We're going to go check out this cool little church, but this good backdrop made me want to do another video. So I wanted to outline the process of buying a motorcycle. And you think it would be simple, but things are not simple here in the Philippines for almost anything. I talked about that on other videos. So, oh yeah, and before anybody gives a smart comment of why am I wearing a tank top, it's hot as heck out today. So like I said, we drove the bike over here. So that's why I'm wearing a tank top in the video, guys. All right. So yeah, buying a motorcycle. Let's talk about first, I guess, one, if you need one. And on that, I'm going to say it really depends on where you live in the Philippines. If you watched any of my other videos, I talked about when I got here, I was living over in Cebu. I was living over I stayed in Cebu and then I went to Lapu-Lapu, and I have a condo over in Lapu-Lapu. So what you have to understand if you've never been to the Philippines is driving here is an absolute nightmare. And I cannot stress that enough, honestly. Like when I say it's an absolute nightmare, as an American, I'm from America or whatever country you're coming from, you're used to a country that has traffic laws and stoplights and stop signs. And for the most part, people generally follow the traffic laws, right? Here in the Philippines, one, there's almost no stop signs at any intersection. There's almost zero stoplights. So I'll do some videos on this. When you come to a major intersection, people are just, it's a cluster of people just going and cutting in front of people, and it's an absolute nightmare. So when I got here, I was overwhelmed, honestly. And when I was in America, I knew I really wanted to buy a motorcycle. I had one in America, and when I got here, I pictured myself getting a motorcycle. And it took me a couple months, honestly, before I felt comfortable enough to want to even try that, just to see what a cluster the traffic situation was. But I personally wanted one because I don't like that feeling of being trapped. I want to be able to just walk outside and get on my bike and go, right? I talked about this in other videos. The taxi drivers here are one of the biggest scam artists in the Philippines. I don't like dealing with them. I'd rather avoid them. So all those reasons made me willing to roll the dice, and I thought, you know what, I've driven a motorcycle enough in big cities in America. I can figure this out in the Philippines and be safe and etc. So I decided to get one. So, but if you're not comfortable, I will say this, if you're not comfortable, if you've never ridden a motorcycle before, you don't want to use the Philippines as your first learning point, unless you live in a province area. Here in Bohol, the traffic is a lot better. Over in Cebu, like I said, there's nothing like it that I've ever seen traveling around. It's on a whole different level. So yeah, you got to be comfortable enough to be able to drive a motorcycle. And Cebu wouldn't be the place that I'd recommend it. So I want to outline the process, kind of address that first, and then the process that I went through to buy this thing. So first and foremost, businesses in the Philippines are not like we're used to in your home country. And if you're a Filipino, you're going to listen to this and you're probably going to get a little hurt when I say this. But like I said, my videos, I want to be honest in my videos, and I want to paint an accurate picture of the Philippines. For some unknown reason to me, businesses in the Philippines think that you don't need a phone number, apparently. You can Google Honda, right? You can Google Yamaha Bohol, for example. You're going to come up with 4 or 5 different dealers right around here that deal in Yamaha. The phone number that they have, if they have one, and I'm not joking when I say that, many dealers online, they have no phone number, nothing, no contact. They have a phone number, you call it, it's disconnected, it's an old phone number. And it's extremely frustrating. I can't stress that enough, honestly. In America, you would never, ever in a million years have a business operating with no phone number on your website or a mechanism to contact you. So some of the dealers I just didn't deal with because I literally could never get a hold of them. And when you ask a Filipino about it, the funny response you get is, well, they just figure you'll drive over. Well, why would I want to drive an hour or 2 hours? Maybe I'm on another island. right? Why would I want to do that to see if you even have something in stock I want to go see? So that is extremely frustrating. Second part of my frustration was going and talking to these salespeople at the dealerships are not like we're used to in your home country. I can only speak, I bought many cars and motorcycles in America, so I know that process inside and out. But I know when you go to a dealership in American car or motorcycle shop, the dealer, chances are the salesman knows everything about that, whatever it is you're looking at, that car, that motorcycle, can show you how it works, all the options, and explain all that stuff to you, right? Here, I went to dealers. I didn't know much back then what I was looking at. I watched some YouTube videos. I kind of had a general idea of between a couple different scooters that I was interested in. And I would ask the sales guy, so can you show me anything, tell me anything about this? Yeah, it's good. It's nice. That's it. It's nice. Nothing else. Like, can you tell me anything about it other than it's good with a thumbs up? And some of that is English understanding, and I'm not bashing them. But like I said, these are big dealerships in Cebu City, right, that I was looking at back then. And there's a lot of expats from all over the world that come here, and a lot of them from English-speaking countries. So I was a little amazed by the lack of English understanding at some of these dealers. And I could tell when I was trying to talk to a lot of the salespeople, I was really polite and trying to talk to them and deal with them. And that was frustrating, to say the least. And again, I'm not from this country and I don't speak Bisaya, so I can't hold that against them. But I'm just telling you guys up front, it's something you're going to encounter. Another part on that was I called Yamaha. I was considering a Yamaha NMAX. I called a Yamaha dealership in Cebu and I wanted a particular color. They had this cool green color I wanted. I called in the morning. Girl on the phone says, yes, we have every color. Brand new, just arrived. Great, we're coming right over. Take a taxi over there. I get there, there's not a single one in the shop. And I asked the girl, we just called like an hour ago and you said you had, yes, every color is here in the store. Oh, no, sir, they're at the warehouse. Well, where's the warehouse? Oh, well, we'd have to have somebody come over and it's getting late and I don't know if someone could do it today. Okay, well, I just took an hour-long taxi ride to get here and you just told me an hour ago that every unit was here in stock. So anyway, really frustrating. So fast forward to actually buying one. You got to buy in cash. They're not going to finance a foreigner. I won't even get into that, trying to talk to them about that. My advice would be don't even try, because it's not going to work. The only way you can is if you're married to a Filipino. That's pretty much it. Not even another option. So cash is it. Oh yeah, and cash, when I say cash, I mean cash. 90% of the dealers, and I'm not exaggerating here, will not take a credit card. I was at a Kawasaki dealership actually just recently because I was looking at getting a bigger bike in addition to this one. They took a credit card, but they said we have to hold the unit for 3 days to make sure the payment clears after that. Triumph took a credit card, but they wanted to charge 3.5% of the overall sales price as their fee. 90% of the dealers don't take. So when I wanted this one, that's the other issue. I talked about this in other videos. Most ATMs here in the Philippines max out at 10,000 pesos per day, which isn't a lot when you're looking at a scooter that's 150,000 pesos. So basically you have to go to the ATM 15 times and it's per day. So you have to plan on this for a while. I did find there's one ATM bank here that'll give you 40,000 pesos a day. So what I did when I found one that I actually wanted, I had to literally go to the ATM. I tried to hit it twice in a day and it doesn't let you. So it took me several days, but to accumulate enough cash, actual cash, to walk into the dealership and pay in cash. So, and then the other weird thing that you encounter here is they'll have units, they'll have scooters, they'll have motorcycles in the showroom, and you'll go to buy them. I was at Honda and this happened. I was asking about a Honda, a big bike, CBR 650. And she says, that one, we can't sell that one, sir. I said, why is it sold? It's not ready to be released. I don't even know what that means. Can you please explain that to me? Well, that we have to get a release basically from Honda that we're allowed to sell that. And I said, okay, that's fine. How long, are we talking a week, 2 weeks? What? Oh, we don't know, anywhere between 2 weeks and 3 months. Okay, so I don't want that one, obviously. I want something else. So that's weird. I can't wrap my mind around that as a foreigner. I'm not even sure what that purpose would be. And that happened in several places. It wasn't just Honda. That happened at several different dealerships. The other one was registering it. This is a total, you will not understand this as a foreigner in probably any country that you're coming from. When I bought this, when you buy any motorcycle here or car, you don't get a temporary tag. In America, you get a temporary tag. It literally says temporary tag. I can walk into any car lot in the country, in the United States, or motorcycle shop, and I'm gonna leave there with a temp tag. You don't get one. You're supposed to buy it, and you're not supposed to drive it because it's unlicensed. It's not registered at that point. And what they tell you is you're not allowed to drive it until we get the registration back from, it's called LTO. It's the Land Transportation Office here. It would be what's like our, the DMV in America, Division of Motor Vehicles. So I was trying to talk to the salespeople and the manager. I'm like, okay, so I just paid cash for this motorcycle, and basically I'm not supposed to drive this. How long is this process going to take? Oh, it can take 3 or 4 months. So I'm supposed to buy something, and like I said, this goes for cars also. So you can spend $50,000 on a car, and you're not supposed to drive it for 3 or 4 months. And I said, what if I just drive it anyway? Well, if you get stopped, LTO does checkpoints all over the place. They're always out here in Bohol. If LTO stops you at a checkpoint, you're driving an unregistered vehicle, they can impound it. They can tow it and impound it and keep it. And that's a whole nightmare that obviously I want to avoid. So there's no way around it. I'm like, what if can I pay? Is there any like amount that I can pay maybe to expedite it, something like that? No ifs, ands, or buts. It can't be, you can't get an actual tag. You can't get a temporary tag. So I'm telling you now, just to avoid your frustration when you come to the Philippines, if you buy a motorcycle, know that that's a definite thing. There's certain ways, I won't get into it in this video because I don't want to address, there's people here called fixers. They can do a lot of different things. They're basically, you pay them, and they know people in government offices, right? Like at the LTO office or whatever, things like that. So there's ways to navigate that process, but it's going to cost you a lot of extra money. And whether or not you want to do that or not, right? Because it's probably not totally legit. I'm not sure. I haven't really used it much, but I've been here long enough to know how the system works here. And that's all I'll say about that. But so in the end, I got one. I got a Honda PCX. It's been great. I put like 3,500 to 4,000 kilometers on it already. I've just actually bought a bigger bike, and I'm gonna do a separate video. This isn't really about the motorcycle, it's about the process if you want to buy a motorcycle. And this goes for scooters or motorcycles, or like I said, even cars. So I want to just kind of outline that process and warn you up front of what you're going to encounter along the way. And I looked at car dealers also, because I was looking at some cars here. I went to Toyota, I went to Suzuki, and I just talked to MG the other day. So I talked to several car dealerships here also, and the process is the same there. So it's not any different there either. So that's what you're going to face when you come here, and if you try to buy a motorcycle, just be prepared to be very frustrated, honestly, along the way. But in the end, you'll get one, and now it has a plate on it, and it's legal, and it's good to go. And my next step after this was to get my driver's license. I'm going to do a whole nother video on that, because that process was a total nightmare, and that's going to need its own video. Much different than people claim it was on other YouTube channels. And maybe I was just the unlucky idiot in all this. I don't know, but yeah. And I wasn't unlucky. I will want to say that I wasn't unlucky in this process. When I talked to Filipinos here, they go through the same process. This wasn't unique because I'm American, right? That's just how they do business here. That's how they do the registrations. That's how they sell things, et cetera, et cetera. So I hope that helps, and really think about whether or not you're gonna need one and want one is really gonna be dependent on where you live. If you live over in more of a province area, you're definitely gonna want one, because now that I'm in Bohol almost all the time now, I use it every day, several times a day. Usually I'm going to the gym or going somewhere, going to the grocery store, right? I literally need one. I couldn't function here without one. Over in Cebu, you really wouldn't need one. Over in Lapu-Lapu, you wouldn't really need one. A lot of places you're not gonna need one, and you're probably not gonna want to drive in those conditions, like I said. I'm gonna start doing some videos and filming some stuff when I'm driving around, just so you guys can kind of comprehend the level of The video cut out, my phone overheated because it was out on a tripod in the sun. My apologies. So yeah, I was talking about, I'll do some videos on the level of lawlessness, I was gonna say, because the way people drive here, honestly, like things you've never seen. So I can't stress that enough to warn you strongly enough. Just the other night, I was coming home, about an hour and a half drive, and I counted, literally, I'm not exaggerating, I counted 16 motorcycles without lights. 16 without lights. It'll be some 1972 little scooter driving 15 kilometers an hour, the pitch black with no lights, no tail lights, no brake lights, no headlights. You can't see them. You're driving down at 50, 60 kilometers an hour and bam, right? So that's where I drive really slow here for the most part. You don't need some 1000cc sport bike here in the Philippines as much as you may want one, right? You just don't need it, at least on any of the islands I've ever been on. So I'll do some videos on that later. Yeah, drive with no lights. And the driving head on is a really bizarre thing that they do here. You'll be driving down the road, right? And this happens, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I can't, again, stress this enough. I'm not exaggerating. This happens several times a day, and that's not an exaggeration. You're driving this way, right? Most of the roads here are 2-lane, right? So I'm driving, oncoming traffic is coming this way. They will pass a car and be coming directly head on at you, and all they do is beep their horn a bunch, like a crazy beep, 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 flash their high beams if it's nighttime. They're trying to tell you to move out of their way, and sometimes you have to literally almost run off the road to not die in a head-on collision. The first time I seen that here, I was like, what in the hell is wrong with these people? Are they drunk? Are they in what? You just don't see that in America unless they're drunk, high, running from the police, right? But that is literally how they drive here. And again, this isn't exaggeration. This is not joking. I'm not being dramatic. It happens every single day. If I didn't move over, I would die in head-on collision from oncoming traffic. That's just how they drive. It's just how they operate. And the funny thing is when I said something, I still say something to my girlfriend because it bugs the shit out of me, right? The way people drive. She's like, they're just overtaking. They're just passing, right? You have to move for them, right? So that's, like I said, I'll do some videos on that later, but you really, really need to have your head on straight when you drive here. You need to be paying attention non-stop. It's not like driving in probably a lot of the countries that people are moving here from. So, all right, I hope that helps. Is a little longer than some of my videos, but like I said, I wanted to kind of put as much information in there and paint an accurate picture, right? Because like I said in other videos, my goal here is to not just paint the picture that the Philippines is all sunshine and rainbows and unicorns dance in the streets, right? And the rivers are filled with chocolate and caramel, right? It's good, but there's some things that are really frustrating, and this is one of them, and one of the processes. My girlfriend luckily kept reminding me of, you're only going to do this once, because I kept getting frustrated. You're only going to do this once. Well, twice, because I'm buying another motorcycle. But the point is, yes, it's really frustrating, but you're probably only going to do it once every couple of years, right? Or maybe less, because you're going to buy a motorcycle or car and probably keep it for 4 or 5 years. So, all right, I hope that helps. And remember to like and subscribe. Got a bunch of videos to upload. I've just been trying to doing some editing and stuff like that. All right, see you guys.